And we've reached the finale, guys. I'm talking about vanilla today. What an awesome note. Vanilla is super, super awesome and perfectly appropriate to wear in the autumn season. And even though it's my number 2 favorite note of all time, number 1 goes to patchouli. And I love patchouli to death, but for some strange reason, I don't consider it an autumn appropriate note. But on the other side, vanilla I find to be super appropriate for autumn. It's sweet, it's rich, and it's endlessly versatile. It's the heart of so many of my fall favorites. I love it. I love vanilla. And at one time I wasn't a lover of vanilla, but now I'm addicted. So this is part of my top 10 autumn notes deep dive video. And I've decided to take that video, which is 2 hours plus, and break down all the notes into individual videos in case you don't like watching long form videos and you like to tune in to each of the notes individually. So vanilla, again, is an awesome note for fall. Stick around to find out what I've chosen in the list of 5 fragrances. But before we start, let me know your favorite vanilla fragrances. Do you consider vanilla a favorite note of yours for autumn wear? Is it more of a winter? For me, it's winter. Again, I don't have any rules, but if I had to make rules, I find vanilla to be perfect in the autumn and winter. But again, I don't have rules, but I think these are really, really appropriate notes for autumn. And if you're looking for some fragrances to wear in this autumn, these notes breakdowns are going to be perfect for you. But let me know if you have a favorite vanilla fragrance. What do you think about vanilla for autumn? And we're going to get started with this fragrance. It's from the house of BLNDRGRPHY. It's Vanilla Mudslide. And this was part of our kit number 14, 15? No, we have 15 with the other 3 fragrances. This was part of 14, which dropped around April, I think, somewhere around there. But this has turned out to be one of my favorite fragrances I discovered last year. I first discovered this at Pitti Fragranza in Florence. They had put out the fragrances. They hadn't launched until the end of last year. But really awesome, super sexy. I do get a little bit of a tobacco-ish touch in here as well, which makes it even more special. It's also super long-lasting, which is also really, really awesome. Plus, it garners compliments. It's a bit boozy, but I wouldn't call this a boozy fragrance because it has vodka. Something in it is acting a bit boozy, but as I said, also it's acting tobacco-ish. It's acting smoky. Lots of vanilla, but also almonds, but super intoxicating. Really, really awesome fragrance. Definitely the best that the brand has released. I have a video on the channel with the brand owner, shot at Essence, if you want to go catch that video. But such a special fragrance for me. It gives me a little bit of tobacco vanille vibes and also a bit of Caron's Tabac Exquis, but this is so much more potent than those 2 fragrances. And I find Tobacco Vanille to be more potent and intense in comparison to Tabac Exquis. But here, it's so long-lasting. It's an extrait de parfum. Great projection, really super intense, and it's part of our previous kit, and we still have some. If you haven't tried this, I highly, highly recommend you guys try this one. It is an awesome, awesome release. Created one of my favorite perfumers from one of my favorite perfume firms of independent women perfumers. This is Anne-Sophie Bahagel, and it's a Vanilla Mudslide. Super intoxicating. Let me know if you've gotten your nose on that. Add a comment below. I know the brand has been selling out of the bottles. Maybe I'm talking about it too much. Maybe our kit is helping along with that. But if you haven't discovered it, there are still kits available, and if you've already bought it and you can't find a bottle, again, there are some kits available so you can get more of that juice because it's just totally awesome. But I'm going to go to the next vanilla fragrance. This one might be a bit more cozy than Vanilla Mudslide. This is one of the OG vanilla fragrances I first got my nose on, but it didn't come in a bottle like this. It's gone through multiple bottle changes. But finally, I think they've settled on this collection as this bottle. This is from the house of Guerlain from the L'Art et la Métier collection. It's Spiritueuse Double Vanille. I was originally going to put Angelique Noir, but I wanted something like true syrupy vanilla, and this is that. You get slight citrusy touches, but floral touches in here as well. But to me, you get a booziness from this, and it acts like vanilla for baking. I baked with vanilla when I was very young. I've baked and cooked quite a bit when I was younger. I don't do much of it now. This is what I do on YouTube videos. But if I didn't do this, I'd probably be cooking and baking. But again, this is so super boozy and awesome. It really smells like the vanilla that you put in your batter, cake batter, and things like that. That's what it smells like to me. Just a simplistic take on a kind of a syrupy, gooey vanilla that's boozy. I think it's gotten light. When I first bought it, it came in one of those thin sideway bottles. Then I got one with a pump that totally sucked. Now I have this. I don't have any of those left anymore, unfortunately. But if you're looking for something simplistic, because compare Spirituous Double Vanille to Vanilla Mudslide, night and day difference. First of all, they smell so different even though they're about vanilla. For me, the Spirituous Double Vanille is so simplistic and easy to wear in comparison to Vanilla Mudslide, which is chock full of various different kinds of notes that actually makes the fragrance super complex. So they're so different. But if you're looking for something simplistic, go with the Guerlain. You know, it's a bit boozy, it's a bit spicy, a bit floral, lightly ambery in the dry down, but you got the sweetness of the vanilla that smells delicious. Hey, I've taken a sip of the vanilla that you put in cake batter and things like that. It smells like this. That's Spirituous Double Vanille from the house of Guerlain. Then we're going to the house of Les Eaux Primordiales, second fragrance from the house, Vanille Supermassive. So we featured their two Supermassive fragrances. First, Amber Supermassive in the, which video was that? The cinnamon list. And then we've got Vanille Supermassive in the vanilla list. And we are now talking about three completely different vanilla fragrances in this vanilla category. Here we have a very masculine take on vanilla. This is like super masculine. It's woody and musky as well. There is a note of caramel in this, but you're not experiencing that stickiness. Whereas this fragrance has a kind of stickiness. By the way, perfumers are from the same firm here. This goes so super woody and dry, a bit smoky, and also I get a little bit of like forest woods experience with this vanilla. Yeah, this is vanilla like no other vanilla. We did feature this in a kit. It was the kit with Piano Santal and Jani, and it's good. It's really, really great. But if you are scared of vanilla, you think you're a man and you think it might come off too feminine, try this and see. First of all, there's a lot of musky notes and woods in the base. I think there is a bit of a forest woods-like effect in here. I think it's because there's pine in the notes. There is caramel, but I'm not experiencing a caramelly experience. And the vanilla is super dry. So it's a dry kind of woody kind of dusty vanilla. But I find it to be super sexy and garners me compliments as well. Really great fragrance. Vanille Supermassive from the house of Les Eaux Primordiales. Let me know if you're familiar with that fragrance, what your thoughts are. Were you able to get one of the kits we had that in? I'd love to find out who got the kit and who didn't. We sold out of that kit a long time ago, actually. All right, the next fragrance is from the house of Perris Monte Carlo. It's Vanille de Tahiti. And again, here we have another vanilla that's completely different than any of the vanillas I've spoken about. This one is a feminine vanilla. And even though I don't get the animalic part, some people say it's kind of animalic to them. So be warned about this. But I find it to be super intoxicating. There's a prominent magnolia and champaca note in here, and I believe there's also Ylang-Ylang. It's a bit boozy, but also kind of spicy. But the champaca, which is kind of a magnolia, and the magnolia note is kind of a creamy, fleshy variety, like very ripened under the heat. Taking these flowers, these giant, gorgeous flowers with a very strong fragrance that's not so distinct, and you've drizzled this syrupy vanilla on it. You're getting their spiciness, their slight citrusy touches, the creaminess. Oh man, it's so good. This is so good. I mean, this to me, I just painted a picture for you. That's what I get. I find that magnolia trees are some of the most amazing trees for me. I mean, you got magnolia trees that go very short and some can get so super tall. Like if I ever go to Sacramento, the center of Sacramento near the Capitol, the grounds of the Capitol is full of magnolia trees. And there are some of the most giant trees. And if you go there in the summertime when it's 100 degrees, you really experience the smell of the magnolia flowers if you're standing under the tree. I love magnolia trees, but sometimes I get scared of them because there's always rats climbing all over them. But get past that. Those trees smell so good, especially if one of the branches is low and you can actually, touch the magnolia, pull it down and smell it. This gives me that kind of an idea, but more intensified. And as I said, drizzled with a lot of vanilla. But it's got a bit of booziness as well. Definitely one of the best fragrances from Paris Monte Carlo in a long time. Addicting kind of fragrance. So super awesome. So that is Paris Monte Carlo's Vanille de Tahiti Extrait de Parfum. I'm talking about the Extrait de Parfum. I think I've tried the EDP. I much prefer the Extrait. For me, that Extrait from Paris Monte Carlo, Vanille de Tahiti, and also Rose de Taïf are two of my favorite extraits from that house. Really love that house and some of their fragrances. But Vanille de Tahiti Extrait de Parfum has become my favorite from that house. Super intoxicating, super delicious. And the last fragrance in the number one category, vanilla for autumn, happens to be Nishane's Ani. Yes, I thought about Ani earlier, but I was talking about Oolong Cha, but it was here as a fragrance that I featured here in the vanilla category for autumn notes. So fragrances are interesting to, well, it's normal with fragrances and everything else in life. I lose interest in things in daily life, and then I come back to them. I had been exhausted of going to the movies. I started going to the movies again because I love movies. Sometimes I get bored of certain foods, and I come back to them. Same thing with fragrances. I was a bit bored of this, but I've rediscovered this. Oh man, it's so good. I think it's definitely one of the best fragrances that Cecile Zarokian has created. It might be my favorite. What I like about this, it's a kind of a fresh take on vanilla, but super zingy. And you've got not only ginger, you've got cardamom. So you've got that soapiness of the cardamom, the spicy zing freshness of the ginger, which both of those spices are fresh, but you've got the warmth of the vanilla. It's slightly syrupy, but not like the gooey kind, because these notes of the ginger and cardamom kind of strip away of the gooey qualities of the vanilla. But there's also some citrusy touches here. In the background, it kind of lightly hints at something like Sospiro's Vibrato, maybe like an overdose of vanilla take on Vibrato kind of a thing. Because the ginger and the cardamom and the fact that there's a lot of freshness up top give me that. But to me, it's a very unique take on a vanilla fragrance. It's super delicious, but you know, at one time I thought that was also very similar to Dries Van Noten from Frederic Malle, which apparently I hear it's coming back as a different fragrance. I don't know how true this is, because there's sandalwood in Ani, and I felt like the sandalwood in this reminded me of the sandalwood and vanilla in Ani reminded me of the sandalwood and vanilla in Dries Van Noten by Frederic Malle, except that this has a lot of cardamom and ginger, so the Dries Van Noten didn't have that. So if you stripped away the cardamom and the ginger and maybe the lemony top notes, you get a little bit more of a closeness with the Dries Van Noten. But they are two different fragrances, and sort of reminding me of one another. But lately, it's kind of giving me Sospiro Vibrato vibes, maybe even Kajal 3 vibes, because there's a lot of zing in here and also a lot of lemony freshness. But really great. Again, really totally different vanilla fragrances, all vanilla fragrances going in different directions. But I find vanilla to be one of my favorite notes for autumn. It's such an amazing note to wear in the autumn time. And it definitely deserves a number one spot. All right, guys, that wraps up the Autumn Notes series. 10 of my favorite notes, perfect for fall. Did you catch the deep dive video, or did you catch these videos individually? Let me know. Do add a comment below. If you're missing some of the videos, I have a playlist linked here. And I also have the full 2-hour plus deep dive video linked here as well. But let me know if you have a favorite note for fall. Do add a comment below. And let me know some of your favorite fragrances that you like to wear in the fall season. I appreciate you tuning in. Stick around for more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.